Okay, so I think we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Diana Rodriguez. I'm one of the senior admissions counselors for our admissions department for all of our programs. So please feel free to reach out to me if you have any admissions related questions. I would be more than happy to help to walk you through the process. But for today, we have Elba Munoz, who is the assistant director of our Postbac Pre-Medical Certificate Program. And we're going to be featuring our Postbac 101 series. So Elba, without further ado, thank you so much for being here today. And I'm sure that your upcoming slides are going to be very informative and are really going to stand out for the program.
Thank you so much, Diana, and welcome everyone who's going to be watching this video later or who is now joining us. I see the folks who are logging in, so welcome. I'm going to go ahead and share my slides with you. And then feel free, I want to make this as interactive as possible. So please feel free to, stop and ask me any questions. I'd like to make it a little bit more engaging. So I will ask questions from the audience if possible. Sorry, let me back up a little bit. So Dr. Kim is our program director. So I'd like to start off by introducing him. So he is like one of our founding directors who came up with our Postbac programs and all of the other co-curriculars that we do together. And again, my name is Elba Munoz and I'm the assistant director of Postbac Programs here. So together, Dr. Kim and I have about 30 years of experience working with pre-health students, specifically our Postbac students. So I've been working with students for 11 years now. A little about me, I'd like to share this with our viewers and those who are tuning in. So I grew up in East LA. I'm first gen. I was raised in Pomona, which is a city not too far away from Claremont. I did attend Cal State Los Angeles for both my baccalaureate, postbac, and master's degree. And I also worked there as well too. So I love the CSU system. I'm a product of the CSU. So any students who are from the CSU, like I love to catch up and hear your experiences as well too. So my hobbies include gardening. I have one human child. I also raise 2 pups. I am a plant mom as well too, and I love taking pictures of all my kids. I also have a tortoise. So a lot of people like to ask me lots of questions about the tortoise. He doesn't hibernate, so he's an all-season tortoise. So he is really sweet. He eats a lot of our like veggie scraps and things like that we have in our garden as well too. I love to take pictures, so I'm an amateur iPhone photographer as well too, and I love coffee. So any chance that I get to combine those is a great time for me. I'd like to introduce to you some pictures of my students and alums, of things that we do together. You like to see the picture on the bottom corner. So that is, one of them is missing, but we have 9 students who have now graduated from the Michigan State University. So that is the biggest group that a med school has taken from our Postbac programs, like all in one lump sum. So that's pretty exciting. So it was really sweet that they were able to get most of them to take that picture and send it over to us. And you'll see in my background, I have pictures of my students in their white coats. So it's just very rewarding for me to get to do what I get to do and help support students on this journey. So let's get started. So just like a quick brief overview about what we're going to talk about. So my background is education, and I like to break things down and help students understand like what exactly are their options when it comes to postbac programs. So we're going to have like a brief overview about that. And then I'd like to share some tips on how you can stand out for these programs. And then I will talk specifically about our programs as well too. And then if we have some time, I'd like to talk a little bit about our summer programs as well too, and then we can have a Q&A, but feel free at any time to stop me and ask me any questions that you have. So this slide was actually created by one of our alums, and I just love this med school timeline. Like oftentimes people think it's like this straight linear path, but it really isn't like that. It's really more so with lots of twists and turns, and you could see like there was an explosion midway, and that's just what life happens. So things happen that kind of throw us in for a loop. But our path is really unique. And that's what I like to remind students, that your path is unique, and things happen in life. And so you may have to, do a quick U-turn or start back from where you started from, but you will get to where you need to go. So I love this slide because it actually kind of showcases how it really is. And so for starters, I want to talk about defining what the postbac programs are. So I like to use analogies, a little quirky in that sense. So think of postbac as like an umbrella term that helps identify various different types of programs. So a lot of students might think that postbac is really just like one thing or another. It's actually quite a few different types of programs in this term. So when students finish their bachelor's degree, programs that they do after that bachelor's degree or after they graduate with that bachelor's degree are called postbac programs. So there are different options out there. So I just like to tell students that there are different programs. And I'm not sure if you have any questions so far, but I want to talk a little bit about career changer postbac programs. And this is more designed for students that need to satisfy a certain amount of or certain type of core classes. I had to do a career changer to get into my graduate program. And so these programs are designed for students that for different types of programs. Actually, they're not just only for pre-health students, but there are specific pre-health career changer type programs where you can complete your science curriculum that you need in order to satisfy the eligibility requirements for gaining admissions into medical school, PA, very similar programs like that. So for students that didn't take like biochem, OChem, or physics, that's what these programs are designed for. So they are structured. These programs can last 18 months to 2 years. And so there is a little bit of a difference there. And so again, they're streamlined to complete these like year-long sequence of programs. So I just like to share that with folks in case you know people that might be looking into a career changer type postbac program. Now shifting into record enhancement, GPA booster programs. This is the program that most people are familiar with. And so these types of programs are designed for students that already completed their science courses or that core science curriculum, but they need a GPA boost. So these types of programs tend to be structured. Their duration is about a year long. And so with that umbrella term, right? SMP programs or special master's programs also fall under that umbrella term. So this is where students can take graduate level science courses. These SMP programs are typically affiliated with medical schools. They're structured, they last about a year or two, depending on the program. And so I'd like to show this like chart here. So you can see that it really just depends on the curriculum that you want to take or that you need to take. And if you have some questions about that, I'm really happy to, set up a time to meet with you and go over your specific questions. So under the record enhancer programs, we have programs where you can retake those undergrad science core courses, or you can take upper division science level courses. Sometimes these programs lead into earning a certificate of completion, while others who offer graduate curriculum may offer either a certificate or you can earn a master's degree with their programs. I also like to talk about DIY postbacs. So basically doing it yourself. So you can do this on your own, and these are obviously unstructured, and you would take these courses either through extension, Open University, or through community college courses. So oftentimes students think like, well, isn't that going backwards? It's not necessarily going backwards, but it's necessarily having to take those courses that you need to complete in a manner to kind of help boost your own science GPA. So again, these programs are unstructured and you're basically doing this at your own pace. And so I'm going to shift over into talking about how to stand out for Postbac programs, and I'll share with you some tips, and then I will talk more in depth about our specific Postbac programs at KGI. So one of the things that I tell students, if you are planning on looking into Postbac program, some of the things that you want to do, especially if you're in your junior or senior year, hopefully you don't need to do a Postbac program, but if you find yourself in a situation that you need to enhance your academic record, your science GPA, that's what Postbac programs are designed for. So I tell folks, try to demonstrate an upward GPA trend as best as you can. With your extracurricular activities, make sure that they're speaking to your special interests. If you have an interest, in tutoring or mentoring folks, or make sure you demonstrate that you have some clinical experience as well too under your belt, because those are the things that the admissions committees are looking for. With respect to your personal statement, I tell students it's really important to talk about your journey towards medicine. Like, how did the seed get planted for that, and how did you come about discovering that you have this like passion or interest for that? So talk about those things. Those will help you stand out in your personal statement. Feel free to include any adversities that you've had to overcome, like if you struggled a bit, or your first gen, talk about those things. Those are really important things that the admissions committee needs to know about you, so that we can have a very good understanding about what happened. And if there were any academic discrepancies, be sure to include those as well too in the personal statement. I think that would be the best place to include that information, so that admissions committees, when they look at that, they have that, again, full understanding. They have that full painted picture about what happened, and just understanding like your process in this journey, and your goals that you're trying to achieve in that process as well too. The other thing too that goes without saying, like, make sure it's error free, that you've had someone take a look at it, or kind of just put that into Grammarly and just get that spell checked, and make sure that all of those things are in order as well too. If you find yourself in a situation like, what else could I make myself like be more competitive? I tell folks, make sure that you've built strong relationships with mentors, or faculty who you interact with, because they can be able to speak volumes about your strengths and your characteristics, and how well you can do in these programs. So again, obtaining strong letters of evaluations, often called recommendation letters, can be very helpful in terms of preparing for your Postbac application. In terms of like deciding like how do you find a program that's like really good fit for you, it has a lot of things to do with what your needs are. There are so many different Postbac programs out there that I tell folks, make sure that you consider the following factors. Take a look at their mission fit. Are you aligned with their values? Is that something that kind of resonates with you? Take a look at the campus culture. You can also take a look at their social media, if they have like a Facebook or an Instagram. Those would be like some hints that you can be able to take a look at and see if that's something that appeals to you. Location is really important for students. They want to be able to either commute from home, or be able to be in a place where they feel like they're going to be able to thrive and feel safe to be able to do so. Take a look and see if there's any possible linkages or relationships. What does that mean? So oftentimes Postbac programs develop relationships with certain medical schools. So there isn't like a formal linkage, but there is that like relationship that, or collegial support that they have from those colleagues, where students are feeling like they're being advocated for, and are able to get advocacy on behalf of the program as well too. So I tell folks to look for those types of relationships as well. And how do you know that information? So by asking like, what are some common medical school programs that your alums matriculate into? So if you start to see like a consistent pattern, that's a good sign that they have like strong relationships with those med schools. You want to find out what types of resources they offer. Again, every Postbac program, I think of them as gyms. And so every gym is going to offer different things. So that's a really important component to look at and see like what are some resources that would benefit you to be able to succeed and thrive. I think environment is really important. So making sure you have accessibility to those resources would be very helpful to you. Financial costs, it goes without saying. So postbac programs, could be more on the expensive side of higher education. So take a look and see like what your tuition costs are going to be like, room and board, that kind of thing, and see if there's any like opportunities for like scholarships and things like that. So programs offer different things. You also want to pay close attention to their alumni in how you have accessibility to them in terms of networking or being able to get like questions answered. I think the alumni of programs can be very helpful to students in terms of like understanding what the experience was like and what their success was like, even after if they finish that program. So again, these are some helpful factors for you to consider and think about in terms of when you are doing your postbac search. So the other thing too, like once you get into a postbac program, I think it's really important to thrive and do well. So oftentimes my students say like, I feel like this is my second chance. And I think it really is this way. So it's an opportunity for you to shine. So you want to take advantage of any type of co-curricular activities that they may offer in terms of clinical experiences. Do they offer community service? How do students get involved in the community? Are there leadership or research opportunities? How do they gain professional development? Again, these are things that are really important to medical schools and other health professions. So again, you want to start figuring out like what programs are going to be able to help you thrive and gain all of these opportunities for growth. With respect to MCAT or GRE preparation, I think that's also really important for some students. They use their postbac program year or growth years in terms of preparation for MCAT. So some programs offer MCAT or GRE prep. Some of them will tend to partner with, a third party, test prep company, such as like Kaplan or Princeton Review. Like there's so many programs out there. Last but not least, but it's certainly the most important, is finding out like how you're going to get the support and guidance for preparation on your journey. So the med school application in health professions application is very intense. And so you want to be able to have someone that you can go to and get support with that process as well too. So I ask and tell folks, make sure you know who's going to be providing that advising and what does that advising look like in the form of support for you. So I put down here a link for where you can search for postbac programs. I have the AAMC. It's a very helpful tool. You can also get a feel for the school, like what their culture is like by visiting their campus. Sometimes if they're kind of far away, they offer like virtual campus tours or maybe sessions where you can be able to talk to their current students or alums. I think that'd be very helpful as well too. Ask the program directors or advisors or faculty who are leading these programs if they can put you in contact with current students or alums. I think that would be very helpful in terms of identifying it or getting some questions asked about the program experience would also be very helpful. And again, if the opportunity is available to be able to speak with the advisors and mentors of the programs, that would be very helpful as well too. And making sure that the program is going to be a good fit for you so that you can shine and do your best in making your application as competitive as possible. And so now I'm going to shift over and talk about our specific postbac programs that KGI offers, and how they can be very helpful to you on your journey. And so I'm going to start off with a quick program overview. So our programs are designed for students that have graduated college and have completed their core science course curriculum. So our curriculum is very unique in the sense that it's both part of the biotech curriculum, but also the business side of the curriculum as well too. So like, think about like learning the other side of medicine and what does that entail. And so our students are taking, very unique courses that we offer. Alongside of that, we also offer support with the application process, like from the start with, coming up with your personal statement, understanding how to craft that personal statement, those extracurricular activities. We also offer, coaching and support with interviews as well too. So we do offer very highly personalized advising for each of our students. And I tell students, like, we meet with our students for 30 minutes, if not more than that. Students are able to schedule more time with us because we are a very small but robust program. So we have about anywhere between 50 to 75 students every cohort year. So between my colleague, Dr. Kim, and I, so we each have about 30 to 35 students that we get to work with closely throughout the academic year, and even students when they leave our program still have access to us as well too. So a lot of our students end up applying to medical school, but some of our students also choose to apply to PA programs. So just depends on what your interests are. And if you're not sure like what those specifics are, again, I'm very happy to meet with you and have a conversation about how you can help build your application to be much more competitive. And so I'm going to share here on this slide some of our program highlights. So as I mentioned, we offer highly personalized advising, but my absolute favorite highlight of our program is that we get to teach our students, and students are cohorted into classes where they get to understand the whole application process and understanding like what do admissions committees really look for in terms of applications when they're screening those applications. So all of that is built into our professional development 5400 course. And again, this is an opportunity for you to get to sit down with your peers and be able to have like honest discussions about this. We do cover, medical ethics as well as motivation and learning. And what does that look like, goal setting, things like that. And then we work our way up into getting those application materials, such as the personal statement, extracurricular, and all of that situated. So in 2 weeks, we are heading out to Arizona, and we get to have field trips with our students, and they get to visit PA programs as well as medical schools. So we do this in the sense that students get to understand the curriculum from the perspective of like what it's like to be there at that med school, understanding the culture. Our students sometimes get to meet with alums if they're available. They'll get to speak with med students. They get to hear from program representatives at these respected medical schools when we go visit them. And they also get like a campus tour. So in Arizona, we'll be visiting 4 different medical schools, 2 DO schools, 1 MD, and 1 naturopathic medical school as well too. So it's just not just only focusing on med school, but just so students can have an idea of what these different programs are like, what's their curriculum like, as I mentioned as well too. We also have medical school deans and representatives come to meet our students as well. So yesterday we had, one of our colleagues come from ICOM, which is a new DO school up in Idaho. And so she came down and met with 17 of our students and had a conversation with them over lunch. And it was really awesome because students were able to have a personalized, like info session just for them and be able to ask like their questions about, what they're looking for in terms of like competitive applicants. I see some folks who joined us, so welcome. I'm just going over the program highlights about our Postbac programs. If you have any questions, feel free to just, chime in or put them in the chat. We'll get those questions answered. We do offer MCAT supplemental course preparation. This is separate from our program, but we do work with a third company such as Kaplan. And so our students often sign up to do this MCAT prep. And so our PPC students end up paying about $1,000 out of pocket for this supplemental course. We call it like the MCAT Groupon for students. Those students who are interested in our PPA program, they do not have to pay out of pocket for their GRE prep. And so our students have, again, this like GRE supplemental course for them to choose to take if they are planning on applying to PA programs. And some PA programs require the GRE. So I think it'd be a good idea for you to take advantage of that. One of the other important components of our extracurriculars that we offer is interview coaching. And so just having that practice to kind of have a sense of what are those questions that get asked to you during an interview. And we do both a traditional one-on-one interview prep, and we record that session, and we actually debrief with students and just get to ask them, we're like now thinking about this question that you answer, like what are some different things that you can say now? And just kind of going over and just like coaching them on like lighting, how to have, certain things to help them, stand out in their interviews. So in the spring, I put together a huge in-person multiple mini interview for our students, and our students cycle through about over a dozen stations, and we cover different scenarios to kind of get them that feel for what to expect in an MMI interview. In the fall, I put together our Volunteers in Community Week. It's been a very successful program planning that we have for students, where they get to interact with a lot of our community partners. And in the next slide, I'll show you what those community partners are. But there's lots of opportunities for our students to gain leadership opportunities, either through the sense of like student organizations, or they get to work with our local community partners in that sense. We have lots of guest speakers that join us, as well as a strong alumni network. A lot of our alums who are passing by because they're doing residency interviews or they're heading back home, they always love to come back and talk to our students. And so every once in a while, I'll get an email say like, oh, I'm in town, I'd love to talk to your students. And then we set that up for students to be able to network with them. I'll pause here. Are there any questions so far? Just feel free to type them in the chat, or just you can unmute yourself if you feel comfortable enough to do so, and then just ask away. And here are some of our community partners that I was talking about in terms of the fall program planning that I do for our Volunteers in Community Week. So we have Uncommon Good, which is in partnership with our student leadership group called Key Club. So this is a mentor-mentee tutoring program. We often invite other community partners. So we have School on Wheels, which is a virtual opportunity as of now, where our students serve as kind of like a big brother, big sister, or big sib to students who are in situations where they are displaced, and so they don't have or who are unhoused. And so students have this opportunity to be able to mentor them in a virtual setting and be able to help them with their homework and things like that. So we've had consistently about a couple of our students who serve as like big sibs for Schools on Wheels. Also, COVID is also another virtual opportunity where students, got together and decided to come up with an online tutoring program to help support students that were falling behind with their studies during the pandemic. And so we have something for everyone who has, a certain interest with mentoring or tutoring. We do have some students that have an interest in our geriatric population. So in the city of Claremont, we have Mingle and Munch and Aging Next, which is an opportunity to be able to serve seniors in the form of like being able to bring them some groceries or do phone check-ins and wellness, and just be able to kind of be like a pen pal or like a phone pal, where you get to call in and just you get to have like really good conversations with some seniors who have retired and may not have access to their family. And so you want to be able to be of support to them. So we also have some clinical opportunities for our students in the forms of scribing positions. Some of them are volunteers, some of them are paid. So it just depends on the organization. One of our alumnus, she's amazing. She created Student Scribes. It's a nonprofit organization where her and her team train students to serve as scribes for private clinical, like private clinics and clinical settings. So it's a really nice opportunity for students to get this practice and be able to, serve our community in that sense. And some of them, after they've graduated our program, have been hired on by these clinics, and they get paid. And so they get to do that before they start off, PA school or med school. One of our students has partnered up with our pharmacy students on campus that have created the Pomona Free Clinic. So this is where our students provide a lot of health education type programs, diabetes screenings. They also partner to help give vaccines, and kind of create much more needed awareness in regards to public health education in that sense as well too. So our students do a lot of free health clinics in the community, and that's another opportunity to get involved. Casa Colina is an opportunity for students to be able to serve the community in a non-emergent type hospital setting. So Casa Colina is like a kind of like a mini Kaiser, but they don't take in like urgent or like emergent like hospital type patients. It's kind of more like a rehabilitation where they provide some physical therapy, occupational therapy. So they provide different services. So our students also serve in a volunteer capacity and provide that assistance as well too for whatever the clinical staff may need. And so they provide that support. We have lots of student run organizations, and because we are such a small community, our students are able to jump in and create their own organizations. I am the faculty advisor for Global Medical Brigades, as well as the Latinx Student Medical Association. So, they have lots of opportunities to grow and create different fundraising events and different community service events that they do throughout the year. So shifting on and talking about our program structure. So our PPC program is a one academic year-long program. I kind of think of it as like the best of both worlds. It's a one-year certificate program, but if you choose to stay on for the second year to earn a master's degree, you can do so. We also have an option for students to do the master's degree from the get-go. And so our students will stay here for 2 years and still take the curriculum of our Postbac program, but they're just going to go ahead and just earn the master's degree at the end of the second year. We do have a Postbac program that's specifically designed for students that are interested in going into the PA route. So this is our pre-PA program. It's very similar in terms of the curriculum. However, students are able to gain about 1,000 hours of clinical experience with our partner Cope Health Solutions. So it's just a really awesome way for students to be able to get their record enhancement, but also be able to gain additional clinical experience as well too. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, our students take graduate level science courses that are within the applied life science. So it's like both the business and science as well too. So that like nice combination. So again, it's the other side of medicine is what I describe to students. And I put down some of the courses that our students take, just to name a few: medical diagnostics or medical devices, just understanding like what those medical devices are, how do they get engineered, and what purpose do they serve, and how do they help patients. Our students take courses like farm discovery, pharmacogenomics, and virology, again, just to name a few. If you have more questions about that, I'm happy to show you a more like longer list about that. So our students earn about 24 units to obtain their certificate in the one academic year. Our pre-PA students can take upper level undergrad science courses. specifically in the summer. And so these are some of the undergrad science courses that our pre-PA students can take only, again, in the summer. So our faculty teach the grad science during the regular academic year. And in the summer, they do teach some upper level undergrad science courses. And again, this is specifically for our pre-PA students as well too. One of the fun courses that our students love to take is the medical terminology, and it's offered in the fall. So it's a nice way for students to kind of get that experience as well too. As I mentioned earlier, we're going on a field trip in a couple of weeks. We're heading down to Arizona. In the spring, we will take another trip. It's either going to be up to Northern Cal to visit some medical schools and PA programs, or we might be heading out to Nevada to visit programs there. So I will let you know if you have more questions about that experience. So here's a picture of our students that are at Midwestern University. And one thing that you may notice is that our students are wearing suits. So that is a requirement for our students, is that whenever we go visit programs or we meet with med school deans or program directors for PA programs, to suit up. It's because we are a professional school, and it's also good practice for our students to get used to dressing up in their full-on business attire. So you might ask, like, what kind of students are we looking for? We're looking for students that have a growth mindset, who are willing to learn and have a desire to work in teams. You know, for those who are interested in the health professions, you're going to be working in a team. And so it's really good practice. And so we're looking for students that are excited to do that and work in teams. Students who are pre-med or pre-PA or pre-health, who have completed, again, their core science curriculum. We're very excited about our non-traditional students. So we've had students who majored in like philosophy, English, or music, but completed their core science prereqs. So we're looking for those types of non-traditional students as well too. Basically, like what we often say, awesome B+ students and students who've demonstrated an upward GPA trend, who have a unique background story is really what really excites us about our student applicants, is that, you know, maybe they're first gen, or maybe they've had, you know, a different lived experience in a different country. So we're looking for students that have a unique background and a unique story as well too. I'm going to pause here before I talk about our summer programs. Are there any questions from those who are listening to us here today? I'll just pause here for a moment. And if there are no questions, I will talk a little bit about our summer programs. Here's the link. We offer lots of different summer programs here at KGI. We are very busy and offer a little bit of everything for students' interest. And I'd like to talk a little bit about our application boot camp. If you know someone who could benefit from getting individualized support on their centralized application system, please direct them to our application boot camp. And so this is a 5-day interactive workshop. We do a lot of work in the 5 days. It's designed for students that are needing support and help and guidance with their graduate health application, such as like AMCAS, ACOMAS, CASPA, any of those like CAS system applications. So we help with students getting advice on how to craft personal statements, how to write their extracurriculars. We also do mock interview prep as well too, on how to decide on what schools to apply to. We also provide interview coaching, as well as like how to draw business professional for these interviews. I put down our sessions for this upcoming summer. We do offer an online ABC program. You can see those dates there for June. And then we offer an in-person, so you can come join us here at KGI and be able to interact with us and get the support that you need for your application. Our next program is our Summer Explore Health Professions. Now, this is a little bit different in the sense where you get to explore and hear from student doctors, current student doctors who are in their respective programs. So you get to hear and learn about, you know, students who are in podiatry school, or who are in physical therapy school, or just understanding like what it's like to be a med student or a PA student. It's really exciting, and our students get to network and hear from our current alums as well too. So it's kind of exciting. We also bring in different professionals in these respected careers that you might be interested in, and just get to understand like what is their day like, what type of patients do they serve, and you get to ask them questions about their journey. It's really fun to hear like how people end up in the careers that they have chosen. And you will also receive group advisement as well as coaching for these programs, and just understand a little bit about the admissions process. You'll get to understand like what does the personal statement entail, those types of things as well too, and just understanding like what you would need to prepare yourself for seeking these types of career opportunities. I put down our workshops. These are a little bit more towards the kind of like the middle of summer. So you can see we do have a virtual session as well as an in-person session as well too. Our in-person is a little bit longer. So it's good for students who are like want to come to our campus and be able to get a feel for what is our campus like. It's a nice way to sample KGI as well too. And there's a picture. I like this picture. This was taken in person right before the pandemic. So it's a really good picture. I should probably put up some more virtual pictures of our program as well too. Here's my contact information. I will also put that in the chat as well too. If you have any questions at all, I'm gonna go ahead and open the floor up for any questions from folks who are listening in. Otherwise, I'm going to turn it over to Diana, and thank you all for listening.
Hello.
Hi, Julie. How are you?
Good, thank you. Well, thanks for
Good.
responding to my questions. And I do have a thought, because I had one applicant who really wanted to participate in a summer program. She's I can't say she's underrepresented or first gen, but that's how she interacts with the world. So she did not get accepted. She met the requirements. She wrote a great essay. She turned in her fee. She had to have parental permission. And it made me wonder, I mean, this was during the pandemic, and it made me wonder if you just have an incredible number of students who apply to participate in that. Because the next summer, I had an OTD student who actually did apply with KEC and got an interview a week ago. I'm still waiting to hear how that went. But she attended like a virtual session over a period of a week or 10 days and loved it. So then she did, as a result, apply. But I had to keep contacting other places for the high school student. And she had such limited access. Her parents would not let her attend school even when it opened. And, attending the KEC experience was going to be like this great, like, connection with technology and health professions. And she just really, she didn't didn't get to do it. And that's what confused me. I thought, certainly in a virtual environment, there'd be more opportunity. So like I said, it could be that you just had an inordinate number of students who wanted to participate and no way to support that many.
Right. We do have a lot of applicants who apply every single year to our summer programs. It is very competitive. So I would definitely encourage her to do another application for next summer. We would be more than happy to, take a look at her application as well. And she can always definitely also, reach out to me or to any of the other counselors, and we can, kind of give her some more guidance on how she can improve her application to increase her chances to be accepted into the program.
Okay, and so the summer programs run virtually and in person at this point.
Yes,
that's
that is
lovely.
Correct. Yes.
And I don't. She got a job this past summer, so I don't know that she'd have been able to do it. And it's so odd where she is in Mississippi is they started school the first week in July. So, that just rules out so many options. She did get to do a virtual session with Lehigh and was really pleased with them and felt like, everything Philadelphia would be of interest to her because of some family, but she's just got to get out of Mississippi. And I thought that there would be so many opportunities at KGI. Well, I'm sorry, at the area, not the Graduate Institute, because she's just applying to college. So I'm going to help her get those on her list. She has no support, and I only support grad students, but she's a friend of our family, and I'm trying to help her get a little bit of a role. Her brother just succumbed to Mississippi, and anyway, she just won't let herself do that, which is great. But do you find that like the high school applicants are pretty much internationals, or is it a pretty generous mix? And what would set an applicant? I mean, she's almost a straight A student. She took AP Calc as a junior. I think when she applied, she had not taken, she was not a junior yet. She was entering her junior year.
Okay.
And there wasn't a conflict with the starting of school because she applied for the June program. So is it like you accept them on a rolling basis? We're trying to figure out where we, messed up. And certainly she can apply as a college student to attend but that's a completely different session, right? You don't ever have the high schoolers mixed with the undergrads.
Yeah, I don't think, there was any place where you, like you said, where you messed up.
Yeah.
We just have a lot of applications every single year. And,
Okay.
there is kind of a cap to our
Right.
class sizes. So again, I really encourage her, to reach out to us and, to try to submit another application for 2023.
Yeah.
And, so we can try to at least, get the ball rolling. But but we don't necessarily have a lot of high school students internationally that apply
Okay.
for programs. Yeah, so it's usually, within the US or,
Yeah.
here locally in California, but we don't have many international students.
Okay. Well, thank you for clarifying, because I just
Yes, of
want
course.
to, before I send somebody else, I want to know there's hope. The Lehigh program actually had closed, and they still let her attend. So I don't know if they don't have as many applicants, but it did make her want to put that school on her list. And really, not working with that many undergrads, I was very, very pleased, because this applicant who applied to OTD fell in love with the program, was so impressed. You probably know this, the OTD program is brand new and doesn't even have full accreditation, and she didn't care. She totally identified with her mission and just said, this is very important. I need to do it. And like I said, she had her interview a week ago. I really want to find out how that went. All right. Well, I am going to be around today, so I'm going to head your direction at least by 3. I do have a quick question, because I
Okay.
was recently at another medical school, and they actually toured me in the medical school. And I haven't been offered that before, but I haven't asked either. And I wondered if you have the ability to walk me through, to show me the spaces, or even the occupational therapy clinic or anything. Is that an option for a consultant visiting?
Yes, I can definitely see who is available, and we can certainly
Okay.
give you a tour today. Albert, just to kind of fill you in, I spoke with Julie on the chat, and she's an educational consultant. She has referred many students to KGI and helped them with their application process. And Julie, just to kind of make sure, so have you directed students directly to the OTD program, or also to our Postbac program, or to what extent have you
I
referred students?
I have yes, I've recommended all your programs,
Okay.
but I've not, that doesn't mean that they submit. Um, in this case, the recommendation I made about the summer program did lead to a, an application, and she's an outstanding, double major, and really into everything DE&I, high high GPA and good GRE score and all of that. I don't even remember whether you all looked at the GRE score, but anyway, it definitely has a strong direction that really aligned with you. And I'll just tell you, having attended that session, it was pivotal for her. It was a game changer. I want to be an occupational therapist working with children. And it went from that to, I must do this and change the world. So yeah, it was just such a positive thing. And again, I don't, just because I recommend it doesn't mean it goes on the list. And just because it goes on the list doesn't mean they ever get the interview and all of that. But it's really across the different programs that my applicants have applied with KGI. And I'm just hoping that I'll be able to speak more about what you all do by coming on campus and seeing your facility. Having done that already with this other school, I definitely had that outcome. So I'm trying to copy the stuff that you sent me and it's not really working. Let me try one more time.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm sitting in a car. That's why I don't have my screen on. I'd probably look really, really weird. So,
Or if you want, you can send me your
let me do
email
that.
address. Yeah, send me your email address, put it in the chat, and then I can go ahead and email you
Okay.
directly, and then we'll
Yeah, if you
we'll
don't
go
mind,
back and
because
forth.
it's not letting me copy it. I can do a screenshot. I'm gonna do a screenshot just so that I know it may not even let me screenshot the chat. I'm gonna try one more time. Chat. Yeah, it did. Okay, so I have the information and I'm gonna try to link to this appointment as well. Sending myself the. Okay.
So
Sorry
glad
to
you're,
hold you up because.
yeah, no worries, Julie. Yeah. So my calendar appointment is for any of the Postbac students or students that have interest. So or if they are not
Okay.
sure, which program they need to apply to, because we do have 2 Postbac programs and we do offer what I call like a hybrid program where they do the Postbac and they stay on for the master's degree. So if you have any students that have that interest,
Yes.
please feel free to direct them my way. I'm happy to advise them on which direction to go. I do
Super.
have to get to another student appointment at 1 o'clock. So
Okay.
I'm gonna head out, but
Yes,
it's a pleasure meeting you, Julie. You're in good hands with Diana.
Thank you,
Okay,
Elba.
and she said that I might be meeting with you today, sometime before 4. Is that correct? You're gonna have some availability?
Yes, I haven't asked her yet.
Oh, okay.
So Elba, would you happen to be available for a quick meeting with Julie? I believe she said that you can come by at 3, correct, Julie?
Yes, yes.
Okay, are you free anytime after 3 o'clock, Elba?
I have an availability like right at 3 because I do have another student appointment at 3:30.
Okay, that sounds great.
So would you be able to direct her to my office at that time?
Yes, I will. Yes, I'll contact you and I'll give you all the logistics.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Elba. I'll talk to you soon.
Later. Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right, so I copied
Okay.
what you sent me.
Yes,
And
so I also sent you my email address.
great.
So you can go ahead and jot it down. You can send me an email just because the phone here in my office, the IT department is doing some stuff to it, so it's not working at the moment. So if you can actually just send me an email when you are here, and then either myself or I'll have somebody else go out and greet you, and then you can meet with Elba, and then we can give you a tour of the campus and get all of your questions answered.
So I think she posted a Calendly link, but I don't need to worry about that right now. She said she was sharing that just so that I could offer that to others, to my applicants. Okay. Great.
Exactly.
Perfect.
So that's if they need any help advising or anything like that, or have questions about our programs, they can contact her directly through that Calendly link.
Well, thank you very much. And
You're
tell me your name
welcome.
again.
My name is Diana Rodriguez, and I put my email address right in the chat.
Right.
So it's D Rodriguez. That. Yes.
I didn't see the Diana. Okay, there, Diana. Okay, I just got the D Rodriguez. Well, thank you very much. And I will see you this afternoon. And I'm gonna email you as soon as I get there so that I can connect, and then you can help me get up with Elba and also see some of the facility, that would just be amazing. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Julie, can you
Oh,
also provide me with
yes,
your
yes.
email address
Yes,
just in
I'm
case?
so sorry. You did
No,
ask for
no
that and I
problem.
didn't ever do it. I'm on an iPad and I can only see one thing at a time.
Oh, got it, got
I'm
it.
gonna send you my email and also my phone number in case I end up having
Okay,
to call you somehow.
perfect. Yes, yes, please do.
Uh, and I'm in town because I'm going to be attending the IECA conference in San
Oh,
Diego.
oh,
So
okay.
I just came in early and thought I'd visit some campuses.
Wonderful.
Yeah, okay. And the thing is, they arrange these tours
Okay,
and they are for people interested in undergraduate. So I do want to see the undergraduate Claremonts, but I won't get as much out of any of the ones that are just doing liberal arts. I think there is a graduate program at Claremont McKenna and
okay.
Harvey Mudd, and I don't know what the other school is there, but I just thought, well, those are really limited, whereas y'all are like 100% graduate, right? And that's,
Correct.
yeah,
Yes.
that's more my client base. And I was really, really excited about the postbac option. And I do have applicants that that need to pull up their undergrad GPA, especially in the sciences, and their parents don't want to help them pay for a postbac.
Oh, I
So, they're underrepresented groups and, they haven't had the level of support they needed as undergrads. So now they're thinking about med school, but they don't really have the right GPA to even submit. It's going to be kind of pointless.
right.
So I didn't know, is there financial assistance available for postbac programs? Or is that kind of unheard of?
For postbac, there is not.
Okay. And no
So
TA or GA. There was just what she talked about, scribing.
exactly.
And I think that was paid scribing, not volunteer.
Yes.
Okay. And so if a student is in a postbac program that's full-time, you listed some courses there. I think those one student I'm thinking of right now is going to have those courses, although, if she gets a really bad grade in them, I think she can retake them.
Okay.
Of course, she wants to graduate on time, so she's not going to retake a bunch at her school. But if I can talk her into a postbac program, is it a cohort style program where you designate the classes, or does she get to pick what she still needs or what she would want to improve her grade?
So we would designate the courses that she would need to take, depending on the program.
Okay.
Now, also, I just wanted to let you know, so for students who are really concerned with their financial assistance,
Yes.
since our postbac programs do not have that scholarship piece to it,
Yes.
we do have another avenue or another option for
Okay.
students. So we have what we call a Master of Science in Applied Life Sciences with a concentration with a pre-health track.
Right.
So this program or this route will enable students to be able to tap into additional financial aid assistance like scholarships.
Right.
Now, instead of this being a one-year program, this is going to be a two-year program.
Right.
And it all has the same benefits as our postbac programs. They'll still be taking the same courses, the same, pre-health advising, all that good
Right.
stuff. The only difference is that they'll be staying an additional year to really carry out that master's component.
And then they get to perform some graduate assistantship research kind of work along the way.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Well, I know that would be right for many students. I don't think it's going to work for this student. She really needs to improve her undergraduate GPA, not just her graduate level GPA. Plus, her parents are really not supportive of her having more than 1 year post college. So we got to help her really get ahead. She's got tons of research experience, and then has gotten involved with campus activities to the extent that she didn't focus as well as she should have. It's not that she's not capable,
Got it.
but she wants to be a medical advisor to film production or television production. That's
Oh,
her
okay.
pretty strong intention about getting the medical degree in the first place. And I'm like, yeah, but first you got to get really good grades in science so you can actually get into medical school.
Mm,
So that's where she's kind of compromised. And I don't think it's going to be with, she'll get clinical experience. That's really important that she get the clinical over that, interim year. And anyway, hopefully she makes the most of it, or her parents come around and let her have another year, because I would really,
definitely.
it's going to just be grueling to go through the process and then have to go through it a second time.
Right,
But I
right.
believe in her, and I love supporting people who, don't have that model in their family, but even the ones that don't have the model have this outrageous expectation that because of their sacrifices, their children can all become doctors.
Right, right.
And for free. So anyway, we've got to work on all those logistics. Thank you very much for
Of
providing this
course.
today and including me. And I think we've recorded our own private conversation here.
Right. Oh, yes. I'll go ahead and pause it right now.